Okay, we will reconvene into open session at 5:52, and there is no action to report that was taken in closed session. Let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, we're now on item 5, comment section, comments and announcements by board members. Sandra.
So, oh goodness, last week, I think it was last week, Spencer, we went to Anaheim for the safety conference. And we all went there hanging on every word of every presenter, like our like lives depended on it, because lives do depend on it. And so we came away with a lot of information that were myself and Spencer and our third person, a faculty member from Stanford, Sean Miller. Also, we divided and conquered because there was just so darn much information to go through. And we went to as many presentations as we could and got as much information as we could. So next week we'll get together and share our notes. And then from then on, we will start committee meetings to look at what we've accomplished so far since our last revamp of the safety procedures, and update what we need to and amend what we need to and support what we have. So
Great, thank you. Jessica Anthony.
My family and I recently attended a movie at the Feather River Cinema. Thank you. And we were able to see the commercial for the Universal Transitional Kindergarten, or what UPK. And my kids were wide-eyed and in awe that they got to see Mrs. Anglin and students and teachers from our schools on the movie screen. They must be famous. And it was actually really exciting. And so with that, I wanted to say I'm really proud to be part of this district and the way that those presentations were put together. I remember sitting with Janet at the last meeting in San Diego about the social presence of schools and being in the media and on a social platform and really getting our values and where we stand out there to the public so that it is well known. And I would like to just say a job well done on those things, and they're going out and doing great things for those that can see them. And I want to encourage more of that.
Thank you. Lisa Torres.
I have nothing to report.
Okay. Bill LeGrand.
I have no comments. Thank you.
Okay. I have nothing to report either. Dr. Holtum.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Anthony, for sharing that with us. We have multiple multimedia spots out there right now. One that focuses on our VAPA program that we're starting at the studios at Central Middle School, and also the UPK one. So those are going out on our YouTube, on our social media platforms, and also at the movie theaters. And we also have some billboards going on throughout, just highlighting and really getting our message out there. So thank you. Also wanted to comment on the safety conference that we went to last week. It was a really good conference. Came back with a lot of ideas. I met with our safety committee lead, who is Principal Patrick O'Brien at Stanford last week, shared with him some of our ideas and talked about putting together a safety committee for the district that's kind of separate from, writing our yearly safety plan, but more of a more immediate approach to what we're going to do yesterday to improve our safety. And we've already done a lot of things, but we still have a lot of things that we can do. I've spent a lot of time researching the latest Texas shooting and things like that, researching, and they talked a lot about that. And some of the good things they did and some of the things they could improve on, and we'll be making some of those changes immediately in our district. Also wanted to share with you that I just got back from Lake Tahoe this afternoon, was at my superintendent summit, where all the superintendents from Butte County get together and meet for 2.5 days to talk about current issues and training and things of that nature. And it was really a productive last couple of days. But I'm happy to be back in district and here with you tonight. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, and now comments and announcements by administration. Andrew James.
Good evening, everybody. Happy to be here and hope everybody's staying cool. I wanted to just say that I've been around the district quite a bit in the last week, and our crews of our summer help, our custodians, and our maintenance staff have been doing a phenomenal job. Seeing some really great skilled labor, seeing some great projects being put in all around the district at all the different schools. So to me, it's very exciting. This is a summer of a lot of different types of upgrades. I think the most obvious when you go to our elementary schools will be the fencing along the front. That's coming to all of them. But there's a lot going on, and I just wanted to commend Jim Campolo and his staff on just doing a wonderful job.
Right, thank you. And Janet Hanley.
All right. First of all, I'd like to say that we've had a great 3 days of professional development. The first 2 days have been with restorative practices with our principals, our administrators, and then counselors, psychologists, and some teachers came to the training. And we learned a lot about how to do restorative circles. And then this day, today, it was with admin, and we spent quite a bit of time in terms of how do we respond when kids do misbehave, and what are some very proactive ways in which to respond, and gave them a wide variety of strategies and ways to handle situations. I did take an evaluation, and on a scale of 1 to 5, they rated it an average of 4.9. So I think it was a successful training, and they got a lot out of it. I want to give kudos to Shannon, my administrative assistant, for all her work, and Amy Hubbard for all of her work in helping me in terms of getting this training prepared. And also a shout out to Jim Campolo. Some things came up and he was phenomenal. He communicated quickly. He came and checked things out and just did a great response. And so we greatly appreciate it. So that was very helpful. And the last thing is summer school is going to be wrapping up on Friday. And they have had a lot of fun and engaging activities going on during summer school. Very exciting to walk in and see the kids so highly engaged and excited when I went into the B-Box. And they had a Legos room as well. We also have stop motion and green screen, and the kids are having a great time. So it's kind of exciting to walk on the campus, and they're going to be wrapping that up this Friday. And then we'll have a board report in August, and they'll tell you a little bit more about it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Kimberly Tyler.
So I want to piggyback off of Andrew as I go back and forth to Sarah de Oro. This summer, I have just seen all these projects happening all around. The sidewalks going in down Mesa all the way to Central, the repaving that they've been doing, the big, tall safety fences in front of Wyandotte, which is really going to increase our students' safety, especially since we're moving the special ed classrooms to the front of the school, which I had some concerns about, but not since I've seen the great work that Jim's doing. And I'm just really impressed with all of the work that our maintenance people and custodial staff and extra people are doing this summer.
Thank you. All right, comments by public. At this time, the board will extend an invitation to interested parties who wish to speak on matters which are school related. For those attending remotely who wish to comment, use the raise your hand button to be called on to speak. Comments or questions may also be emailed to backpack@ocesd.net. Please include your first and last name in your email. Comments and questions received will be read into the record and or addressed during the meeting. However, comments received without the sender's name will not be shared during the meeting. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per person and 20 minutes per subject. Do we have any emails to read?
Yeah, we do. Spencer, do you want me to read it? Please. Good evening. Stanford Summer School invites you to, quote, Little Red Boxer Shorts and, quote, Jackie and the Cornstalk Readers Theater Performances. Performances start at 10:55 in the cafeteria, Friday, July 29th. We hope to see you there. Thank you, summer school staff and students. And that was written by Laura Philbeck, who is a Ishii Hills Middle School teacher.
All right.
That's all there was.
And any hands raised online?
No, there are not.
Okay, any comments from the audience? Okay. So we'll move on to item 6, presentations, 45-day budget revision.
So part of the requirements I have is to report to the board if there has been a material change after a budget adoption has taken place. With the original budget, which we know is made in May on May assumptions on the governor's May revised budget, there were some changes that occurred in the actual adopted budget. The major changes have to do with the funding to LCFF. What we had talked about it in the budget presentation, but we were able to use the 1920 enrollment percentage, how much percentage of time students go to school for this last year to make up for that difference. We were able to use 3-year averaging ongoing. So every year we get to use the 3-year averaging of the prior 3 years ADA for our current year funded ADA, as opposed to the old system where it was the higher of this year or last year's ADA. So for a district like Oroville City Elementary School District, that having a slighter, slower slope as we decline in enrollment, super helpful. That was really the one piece that was the biggest change. That was probably about a $2 million change in our outlook. If you recall, at original budget, we were looking at the funding cliff because we had all these hold harmlesses from COVID money, and we were about to drop $2 million off in LCFF funding. In addition to those two features, they also added a supplemental LCFF investment for inflation, bringing the total year over year change in per ADA funding to 12.84% increase. So with those, there was a $3.6 million change in our LCFF funding. Additionally, the funded budget, the budget that was adopted had some new programs. They had a learning recovery emergency block grant, a expanded learning opportunities program, and arts, music, and instructional materials discretionary block grant. Those are all one-time in nature, and they show up on the restricted side of the budget, and they collectively are $4.8 million. So there were some significant changes to the budget. There were also a number of other small changes having to do with changing or adding a COLA to transportation funding and some other things that you'll see fully reflected in the first interim budget. But my responsibility tonight is to tell you about the major changes and that we're going to be putting those in place and moving forward. So are there questions about the adopted budget?
Any comments?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Okay, item 7, action session. A, public comments on action items. The board will extend an invitation to interested parties who wish to speak on items that are listed on the agenda. For those attending remotely who wish to comment, use the raise your hand button to be called on to speak. Comments may also be emailed to backpack@ocesd.net. Please include your first and last name in your email. Comments received that pertain to items listed on the agenda will be read into the record during this time. However, comments received without the sender's name will not be read. The Brown Act does not allow the governing board to discuss or take action on any item that is not on the posted agenda. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per person and 20 minutes per subject. Do we have any emails to read?
We do not.
Okay, any online raised hands?
There are none.
Okay, anyone in the audience like to speak? We do not. All right. Item 8, consent agenda. I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion or questions on the consent agenda?
I'd just like to say that as far as the personnel recommendations, I'd like to wish the best to those who are leaving us and to welcome those who are joining us.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, we'll go for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Okay, item number 9, new business. Approved name change for Central Middle School.
So Central Middle School is taking on a new identity as the studios at Central. This is something that the principal and their staff had brought to the board a few board meetings back. We had talked about a new name and administratively we considered, do we technically change the name or do we leave it the same? But as we're sort of getting into, full implementation of this program, it's apparent that they're going to need to formally change the name of the school, or most of the places that school is listed will not be the studios at Central. It will be whatever is listed on the CDE webpage. So this action will allow us to contact CDE, tell them to change the name on the webpage, and that will kind of clear that up so they can move forward with the new look and the new program. And again, this all ties back to the new focus at Central on the visual and performing arts. And this is one of the cornerstone pieces of that, was finding a new identity for the school because it is a new program. It is a different look.
Any questions or comments on the name change?
Regarding the name change, it seems a little bit off that the school will still have a sports program from what I understand.
So the school will be, the main changes of the school are going to be students will have electives that are arts-based electives, and they will have a number of lessons in their general ed courses that incorporate the arts. But the rest of the structure of the school isn't going to change. So the esports program will still be there. Basketball will still be there.
Like I think I'm thinking of like the mascot. Like is that still going to be like a representation? Like are we
Yeah,
a mascot?
So they're still going to have Rory, the
Okay.
lion. Maybe they'll give him a beret or something. I don't know. I'm being facetious. But yeah, no,
Going to
that's
be incorporated.
it's still going to be the Royals.
And it will be known as the Central, or excuse me,
Studio.
the studios at Central Middle School. So it will still have Central Middle School in the name. We just are looking to rebrand it for what our new mission there is, which is the arts.
Right. And this name also corresponds with the advertising we've been doing for this program. And you saw some of the advertising in the theater, and this ad is in the theater now as well. So we're hopeful that it'll be really successful. I think this has been something that I know the entire time I've been here has been discussed kind of behind closed doors or in meetings about what are some different directions or just focuses that our schools can take. I think we're in a unique position in Oroville as the only district with 2 middle schools to be able to offer option A and option B. So I think it's going to be really positive. And like I've told everybody I've talked to about this, if I was a kid and I had the opportunity to go to a school where I could do drawing and maybe I had to dance and do theater, but I could do the other stuff I wanted to do, I'd be pretty excited. So I think it's going to be an exciting program for Oroville.
And I think with the efforts that have gone into making significant changes, that it lends itself well to have a new name, because it's the same school, but it's really a new environment with new opportunities. And I think a new name is important to go along with that rebranding. Okay, is there a motion to approve the name change for Central Middle School?
I make a motion that we approve the name change for Central Middle School.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion or questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Congratulations to the studios at Central. All right, now we will accept bids for school pictures.
So we did solicit bids from a number of different companies, and you'll see the results. There was only one company that returned a bid for our picture program.
I think I'll save my comments for when we approve it.
Okay. Is there any questions or comments on accepting the bid? Excuse me, sorry, I turned my page. Accepting the bid. Any questions on that?
I have a comment.
Okay. Is there a motion to accept the bids for school pictures?
So moved.
Is there a second?
A second.
Any discussion?
I've witnessed the way that a creative imaging center creates pictures in an individual setting and a group setting. It's very interesting, very high tech, very digital, and so much different. They don't sit kids in a row and take a class picture anymore. They're all digitally imaged. But what's really cool is you get them on your computer at home and you can order them at your leisure. So we don't have to scramble to put money in an envelope and stuff it in our kids' backpack anymore. And oh my gosh, it's picture day. Like, I don't have the cash. What do I do? What are all these boxes? So it's actually a very nice, up-to-date way to do photos. It's really convenient.
I'd like to just share that we've worked with Dean in creative imaging for several years now. I love that he's local. He's very easy to work with, and they do a great job. And they have they filter and brush the pictures, so even the staff looks good. I'm just speaking of myself, but they do all our pictures for school IDs and things of that nature as well. So we really appreciate them and glad that they submitted a bid.
Last spring, they revamped the website, so it's a little easier to use now, so.
And the staff is great. One of the people that are there, McKenna, she used to be a coach at the gym, and they do great work. So, and they're very reasonable in price. They're not like high price. Yeah.
All right, so we have a motion and a second to accept the bids for school pictures. So I'll put it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. And now we come to awarding the contract for school pictures.
So this is where you award the contract for the 2022-23 school year through the 24-25 school year. And we obviously recommend that you select the contractor to that bid.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
I second.
Okay, any discussion or questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Right, move on to item number 10, curriculum and instruction. A, approve agreement with Butte County Office of Education for professional development and leadership support.
So we are working with county office again, and they are providing us some services that will help us with some leadership training.
Okay. There a motion to approve the agreement with BCOE?
So moved.
Is there a second?
A second.
Any questions or discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Item 11, personnel. A, approve provisional internship permit request.
So it is
You're not on.
It is recommended that we approve the internship permit for a multiple subject teacher intern, Michaela Batman. She's worked with us for the last several years and done a great job for us. And we are currently short teachers. We're almost fully staffed in our certificated, but not quite. And Michaela is going to help fill some of those needs.
there any questions or concerns? Is there a motion to approve the provisional internship permit request?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Item B, consider request for unpaid leave of absence.
It is recommended to the board that we approve this unpaid leave of absence for this employee due to hardship.
Any questions or comments? Is there a motion to approve the request for unpaid leave of absence?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. And with that, we conclude our meeting and I will adjourn the meeting at 6:18 PM. Impressive.
There you go.
For the next 4 days, and I know sites have to have. their
I wanted